Built to create value, a practical guide to developing the mindset, character, and skills of a successful entrepreneur. YouTube audiobook, Session 09. The Intrapreneurial Mindset. Welcome to Built to Create Value, a practical guide to developing the mindset, character, and skills of a successful entrepreneur, written by Daniel Eremisele. This is Session 9, the Intrapreneurial Mindset. In our previous session, we looked at understanding the entrepreneur. We established that an entrepreneur is more than a business owner. An entrepreneur is a builder, a problem solver, a resource organizer, a decision maker, a learner, a risk manager, and someone who creates value. Now we are going to look at something closely related, but slightly different. We are going to examine the intrapreneurial mindset. Not everyone who thinks entrepreneurially owns a business. Some people bring entrepreneurial thinking into an organization they do not own. They work within an existing company, institution, ministry, non-profit organization, government department, school, or professional environment. Yet they think like builders. They notice problems. They improve systems. They introduce ideas. They take initiative. They look for better ways of doing things. These people are often described as intrapreneurs. And the intrapreneurial mindset can make you extremely valuable wherever you work. What is an intrapreneur? An intrapreneur is a person who applies entrepreneurial thinking within an existing organization. The entrepreneur may build a new enterprise. The intrapreneur helps strengthen, improve, renew, or innovate within an enterprise that already exists. An intrapreneur may be an employee, a manager, a team leader, a department head, a professional, a volunteer, or someone working inside a larger institution. What makes the person different is not necessarily the position. It is the mindset. An intrapreneur does not ask only, "What am I required to do?" The intrapreneur also asks, "How can this be improved? How can we serve people better? How can we reduce waste? How can this process become faster? What problem are we ignoring? What opportunity are we missing? What new value can I create here?" That is entrepreneurial thinking inside an organization. Think like an owner even when you are not the owner. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is learning to think like an owner wherever you work. This does not mean pretending that the organization belongs to you. It means taking responsibility for the quality of your contribution. An employee with an ordinary mindset may say, "That is not my problem." An intrapreneur may say, "That may not be my department, but can I help identify a solution?" One person watches waste and ignores it. Another notices it and proposes improvement. One person complains continually about poor systems. Another begins thinking about a better system. One person waits to be told every step. Another takes responsible initiative. This way of thinking makes a person valuable. The difference between doing a job and creating value. There is a difference between completing a task and creating value. A task is something you are required to do. Value is the useful result produced by what you do. For example, your job may be to answer customer inquiries. The task is answering messages. The value is helping customers receive clear, accurate, respectful information quickly. Your job may be bookkeeping. The task is recording transactions. The value is producing accurate financial information that helps the organization make better decisions. Your job may be cleaning. The task is cleaning the environment. The value is creating a safe, professional, healthy, and welcoming space. The intrapreneurial mindset helps you look beyond the task and understand the value behind it. When you understand the value, you often begin seeing ways to improve the task. Initiative is one of the foundations of intrapreneurship. Initiative means taking responsible action without waiting to be pushed constantly. Organizations value people who can identify what needs to be done and act within appropriate boundaries. This does not mean ignoring authority. It does not mean making major decisions without permission. It does not mean becoming rebellious. Responsible initiative understands both freedom and accountability. For example, perhaps you notice that customers ask the same questions every day. You could complain that customers do not read instructions. Or you could suggest creating a simple frequently asked questions document. Perhaps staff members waste time searching for information. You could complain about the disorganization. Or you could propose a clearer filing system. Perhaps customers repeatedly experience delays. Instead of simply saying, "This is how we have always done it," you could begin asking, "Where is the delay coming from? What could remove the bottleneck?" Initiative transforms frustration into contribution. Intrapreneurial solve problems. Every organization has problems. There are communication problems, customer problems, process problems, technology problems, financial problems, leadership problems, time management problems, quality problems. The ordinary response is often complaint. But the intrapreneur asks, what is causing this problem? What can be changed? What would a better process look like? Who needs to be involved? What information do we need? What small improvement could we test? Problem solving does not mean that you will have authority to fix everything. But it means you begin developing a solution-oriented mind. This is valuable whether you remain an employee or eventually become a business owner. Do not become known only as the person who complains. It is easy to identify problems. Almost anyone can say, "This is wrong. That person is not doing the job. Management is making mistakes. This system is terrible." Sometimes those observations may be correct. But constant criticism without contribution eventually becomes unproductive. If you identify a problem, try to bring at least one possible solution. You may say, "I have noticed that customers are waiting too long. Could we test a simple booking system?" Or, "We seem to be repeating the same mistake. Could we create a checklist?" Or, "Staff members keep asking where files are located. Could we organize them into one shared system?" You may not always have the final answer, but people begin to recognize you as someone who thinks constructively. That is a powerful reputation. Intrapreneurship requires creativity. Creativity is not limited to artists. Creativity is the ability to imagine a better way. An intrapreneur may use creativity to improve a product, simplify a process, reduce costs, improve customer experience, increase communication, solve a recurring problem, design a new service, or find a better use for existing resources. Sometimes innovation is dramatic, but often it is simple. A better form, a clearer email, a faster process, a new training method, a more efficient schedule, a simpler customer journey. Small improvements can create large results when they are repeated across an organization. Respect the organization while trying to improve it. One mistake people make is assuming that being innovative means rejecting everything already in place. That can create unnecessary conflict. A wise intrapreneur learns first. Understand why the current process exists. Understand regulations. Understand budgets. Understand customer expectations. Understand past attempts. Understand who will be affected by the change. Then propose improvement intelligently. Before saying, "This system makes no sense," ask, "Why was this system created?" There may be information you do not yet possess. Creativity becomes more powerful when it is combined with humility. Learn how to present ideas. Having a good idea is not enough. You need to communicate it clearly. When presenting an idea inside an organization, avoid making the proposal only about your excitement. Explain the value. For example, what problem does the idea solve? What will improve? How much time could be saved? What might it cost? What resources are required? What risks are involved? Can it be tested on a small scale? How will success be measured? Decision makers are more likely to take an idea seriously when you show that you have thought beyond inspiration. Start small when possible. Some people wait because they believe every improvement requires a major budget. But many useful ideas can be tested on a small scale. Suppose you believe a new customer follow-up system could improve retention. You may be able to test it with a small group. Suppose you think a new workflow could reduce delays. Try it within one project. Suppose you believe a new communication template would help. Test it for a few weeks. Small experiments reduce risk. They also produce evidence. Instead of arguing endlessly about whether an idea will work, you can gather information. Learn from failure without becoming discouraged. Not every idea will succeed. Some ideas will not receive approval. Some will fail during testing. Some may work differently than expected. Do not allow that to kill your creativity. Ask, what did we learn? Was the idea wrong? Was the timing wrong? Was implementation poor? Was communication weak? Did we misunderstand the problem? Failure can become information. An intrapreneur develops emotional maturity. You do not need every idea to be accepted in order to remain valuable. Intrapreneurs build trust. If you want people to give you more responsibility, become trustworthy. Do not misuse freedom. Do not take credit for other people's work. Do not manipulate information to make yourself look good. Do not hide mistakes. Do not use confidential information irresponsibly. Do not create chaos and call it innovation. Trust gives people confidence that your initiative will be handled responsibly. When leadership knows that you are reliable, opportunities often increase. Intrapreneurs take ownership of results. A strong intrapreneur does not focus only on effort. They care about outcomes. Instead of saying, I sent the email, so my job is finished, they ask, did the communication achieve the intended result? Instead of saying, I completed the task, they ask, did the task create value? Instead of saying, I followed the process, they ask, is the process still producing the right result? This kind of thinking moves you from activity to effectiveness. Become valuable before you become visible. Some people focus heavily on recognition. They want their ideas noticed. They want promotion. They want titles. They want attention. But one of the strongest strategies is to become consistently valuable. Solve problems. Keep promises. Improve your competence. Help the team succeed. Communicate clearly. Take responsibility. Develop good judgment. Over time, useful contribution often creates visibility. Do not spend so much energy trying to look valuable that you forget to become valuable. Employment can become entrepreneurial training. If you eventually want to own a business, do not waste your current employment. Study the organization. Learn how customers behave. Learn how managers make decisions. Learn how money flows. Learn how complaints are handled. Learn how suppliers work. Learn what creates delays. Learn what motivates employees. Learn what good leadership looks like. Learn what bad leadership does. Every workplace can become a classroom if you are paying attention. You are being paid while gaining experience that may later strengthen your own enterprise. That is valuable. Do not steal from the organization you are learning from. There is an important ethical boundary. Learning from an organization does not mean stealing from it. Do not take confidential information. Do not take customer lists. Do not steal intellectual property. Do not secretly copy protected systems or materials. Do not use company resources dishonestly to build your private business. Learn principles. Develop skills. Gain experience. But maintain integrity. The way you leave one organization can affect the character you carry into your own. Intrapreneurs understand teamwork. Innovation rarely happens alone. You may have the idea. Someone else may have technical knowledge. Another person may understand finances. Another may have authority. Another may understand the customer. Strong intrapreneurs learn to collaborate. They do not need to receive all the credit. They care about creating the result. Teamwork requires listening, communication, respect, clarity, and willingness to share responsibility. Your ability to work with others can determine whether your ideas survive beyond your own mind. Intrapreneurs, continue learning. A person who wants to create value inside an organization must remain teachable. Learn about the industry, technology, customers, leadership, finance, communication, operations, and your professional field. Do not become comfortable simply because you know how to do today's job. Ask, what will this industry need tomorrow? What skills are becoming more important? What technologies are changing the work? How can I prepare? The person who keeps learning is often better prepared when opportunities appear. Intrapreneurship can prepare you for leadership. Leaders are expected to see beyond their own tasks. They need to understand systems. They need to solve problems. They need to communicate. They need to make decisions. They need to develop people. They need to take responsibility. The intrapreneurial mindset develops many of these same qualities. This means that learning to think entrepreneurially within your current role can prepare you for greater responsibility later. You can create value wherever you are. Perhaps you are not yet ready to start a business. Perhaps you do not have the resources. Perhaps you are still learning. Do not believe you have to wait before developing entrepreneurial thinking. Start where you are. Become more observant. Become more useful. Solve problems. Improve your communication. Bring ideas. Build trust. Develop skills. Treat your current environment as preparation. Your entrepreneurial journey can begin long before you register a company. It begins when you learn to create value. Personal reflection and action. Before moving to the next session, take time to examine how you currently contribute within the organizations and environments where you work. Question 1. What recurring problem do you see in your workplace or organization? Do not only describe the problem. Write down one possible solution. Question 2. What process regularly wastes time, money, or effort? How could it be improved? Question 3. What skill can you learn in your current role that would also strengthen you as a future entrepreneur? Perhaps sales, communication, financial management, leadership, customer service, technology, or project management. Question 4. Are you known more for complaining or for contributing solutions? Be honest with yourself. What can you change? Question 5. What small improvement could you test responsibly? Choose something simple. Measure the result. Learn from it. Question 6. Finally ask, if I owned this organization, what would I begin paying more attention to? Then ask, how can I demonstrate that level of responsibility within the authority I currently have? Closing. Thank you for listening to Session 9 of Built to Create Value, written by Daniel Eramesele. Remember, you do not have to own a business before you can think like a builder. You can create value wherever you are. Take initiative. Solve problems. Improve systems. Learn continuously. Respect authority. Build trust. Present ideas intelligently. Work with people, and become known for useful contribution. Your current position can become preparation for greater responsibility. In our next session, we will continue with Session 10, Characteristics of a Successful Entrepreneur. We will examine the qualities that help entrepreneurs build, lead, grow, manage resources, solve problems, and remain effective over time. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, keep taking responsible initiative, keep developing your capacity, and keep building your ability to create value. This is Built to Create Value, written by Daniel Eramesele. We sincerely appreciate the time you have spent with us. We look forward to connecting with you again. Until then, remain blessed, continue exploring the treasures God has placed within you, and remember to listen to our other inspirational materials. We would be grateful to receive your feedback and hear how this audiobook has blessed, encouraged, or transformed your life. Please help us to like and subscribe to our channel to help us reach more people. Thank you once again.